you guys have seen this problem with Disney, that he's making a reference to Disney there, among others, when he says, these people who want to look like they're doing the right thing, I have no use for. I only have use for people who are actually doing the right thing. And that, I mean, Disney's a great example of that.
Yeah. I think that Disney's committed brand suicide. I think it's the worst example we've ever seen, probably in all of history. You know, Disney spent 100 years, 90 of those years, they spent building goodwill with the public, and a kind of goodwill we've never seen really anywhere else. I mean, states would change their laws in order to support Disney. Why were they doing that? Was there an economic motive? Sure, but a part of why they were able to do it is because everyone loves Disney, because Disney has raised 3 or 4 consecutive generations of American children with content that parents could trust, that would inculcate in kids sort of common American values. And the fact that Disney at some point decided that it was better to posture for the woke mob than to be true to that unbelievable legacy is criminal. I mean, in a just world, we'd find some way to resurrect Walt, and he'd be able to put these people in prison for destroying his good name.
Maybe we'll do it. He's frozen.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure he's been cryogenically preserved. I think he was, either that was a big rumor or it actually happened, but in any event. So you guys at the Daily Wire actually saw a need for this and started to create children's programming that is actually for children. It's not trying to indoctrinate our kids in racial ideology or transgender ideology. And the whole entertainment side of Daily Wire is expanding. This comes to you organically and authentically, because before you were God King of the Daily Wire, you had a foot in Hollywood and entertainment. So just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that makes Daily Wire unique is that so many of the early people involved in the company, we were an LA-based company, so everyone had dabbled at least to some degree in the entertainment industry. And, I, in addition to having spent 15 years really pursuing being a filmmaker, I also ran the organization Friends of Abe for 5 years. So had a lot of access to, what was really happening in the industry. I could see a lot of this corruption and corrosion a long time before.
Just FYI, Friends of Abe was a group of underground Hollywood conservatives who would meet and talk about their thoughts and ideas, but they had to do it underground because, Hollywood. Keep going.
That's right. So it's always been on our minds that we would not only build a company that could critique culture, but a company that could create culture. But, you can't leap right into that. It takes a lot of money, takes a lot of reach, takes a lot of resources. And we finally built some of those things and find ourselves in a position where we might be able to launch into this kind of content. And we have. To your point, we've launched this brand new brand called Bent Key, distinct from Daily Wire. Daily Wire is very political. Bent Key is not. Bent Key is for kids. And it's wrong to indoctrinate kids into topical politics. Now, it's political in and of itself to inculcate values into children, I suppose, and it's a political action for Daily Wire to challenge a company like Disney. So I wouldn't say that there's nothing political about Bent Key, but Bent Key isn't about sort of taking partisan politics and exposing kids to them. It's really about pushing back against the destruction of childhood that's happening in our culture. It's a place where kids can be entertained, where they can be inspired, where they can learn about joy and creativity, where they can learn about wonder, and that imagination. These are the sorts of things that we're focusing on at Bent Key. And yes, it's because Disney has betrayed its legacy. You can absolutely find the greatest content library ever assembled still over on Disney Plus. There's shows on Disney Plus that you'll want your kids to watch and your grandkids to watch, your great-grandkids to watch. The problem is you can't trust Disney Plus with your kids or your grandkids or your great-grandkids because you don't know while they're watching some beautiful piece of content like Dumbo or something, what it's going to roll into next might be an episode of Proud Family where they learn that America is systemically racist and that Black people should be paid reparations for the horror of having to be Black in America. That's the problem that we're pushing back against. We can't offer right now anything like the expansive library of amazing content that Disney has, but we can offer a platform where you can that you can trust with your kids, which is what Disney used to be.
That's what we need. Like the inability of moms who are already totally overwhelmed and busy, like to have that hour and a half break where you can take a shower. And remember, like your new mother or new father for that matter, you can take a shower. You've got something. You can put the kid in front of a Disney film and get your stuff done and trust it. And that's gone. We used to have it's called the extra saucer that you could put your little one in and he kind of couldn't go places, but there were lots of things to play on it. We used to call it the circle of neglect. And that's gone. Disney, you can't trust it anymore for the reasons you're stating. So Jeremy Wire, Bent Key could be our new circle of neglect programming.
Well, that's what we aspire to do, is cause parents to spend less time with their children. Listen, we've already scored a huge victory. On the 100th anniversary of Disney, we announced that we were going to make our own live adaptation of Grimm's fairy tale Snow White. And we're doing that in part because Disney's live adaptation of their own 1937 animated classic Snow White, they've been very open about the fact that it would be not consistent with the values of the original Snow White. Their lead actress, Rachel Zegler, said, she says, I don't like Snow White. It is not 1937 anymore. Those values are not our values today. And to me, that meant, Disney is betraying the actual film that made Disney a behemoth company in the first place. Within 10 days, I think, or 14 days of us announcing that we were going to put out our own live adaptation of Snow White, Disney moved their release date by a year and released a photo of Rachel Zegler surrounded by quickly created CG dwarves. Keep in mind, we know from other press materials that had been released and leaked previously that there were no 7 dwarves in this adaptation that they had already made, that was already in the can. So it's crisis management at the highest level. They're backtracking now, making this movie. And someone asked me, if they backtrack enough, won't that put your company out of business? And I have a little bit of an Elon answer to that, which is, it would be better for America for Disney to take away the market opportunity that we're trying to capitalize on by actually becoming Disney again than it would be for Bent Key to spend the next 100 years trying to become Disney. Mm-hmm. And I'll go just focus on being a lowly shampoo, razor, and chocolate mogul if that's what happens, and we'll call it a great day for America.
He's saying
Until then,
that
we're going to make some good kids content.
He had to create non-woke alternatives in those 3 lanes: Hershey's, razors, and what was the third one?
Shampoo. I have wonderful shampoo.
I hadn't heard about the shampoo, but anytime a company goes too woke, Jeremy creates Jeremy's razors, or they're the chocolates and so on, so that you have another alternative where you can buy your chocolate or your razors without having to support these woke brands. And you're going to have to create a soap soon, because I'm sick of the damn Dove embracing
Megyn,
every single kind of soap.
Go to jeremysrazors.com. My soap is fantastic.
Oh,
truly.
Oh, you already did it.
Our soap
Dove
and
soap
body
is ridiculous.
Dove soap is out of control.
I don't want to think about you, Jeremy, when I'm using the soap, but I'm going to have to think about that one. Debt. Oh, it's stressful. You can go to bed thinking about it. You can wake up thinking about it. It can haunt your days. I've been there. I have, trust me. Before I became a TV person, I was a law school student that had $100,000 in debt and no way to pay it, and I was stressed. High interest credit cards had those too. And loans make it nearly impossible to pay off your debt. And insane inflation keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck. The system traps you. Donewithdebt.com can actually be a lifetime. If you're stressed out about this, listen up. I've talked about my own experience with debt in the past, and I get it. Well, donewithdebt.com has got a new strategy to help erase your debt faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Here's what they can do for you. Analyze all the debt options that you qualify for, minimize your interest rates, cut your medical bills, and reduce debt without bankruptcy and without a loan. But you do need to hurry, because some of the debt solutions are time sensitive. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's DEBT. Find out how easy they make it and find out if it's right for you. Donewithdebt.com. Donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.